What up, ninjas? This little message here is for anybody under black belt. So if you're a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu, you have to now leave the room. You're not allowed to listen to this. Now you're welcome to listen, but it's not going to necessarily maybe apply to you. Not in the same way, at least. The reason I say that is I want everybody to focus on what it would mean to get your black belt. What it would mean to be a Jiu-Jitsu black belt, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. And if no one in the room right now is a black belt, then I'm the only person here that's a black belt. So let me talk about what it's meant for me to be a black belt and what I feel like it's done for me as a husband, as a father, as a human being, as a teacher. I was a brown belt for 13 years, so I spent a long tenure at brown belt. So when I eventually got to my black belt, it was like a really big deal for me to become a black belt, to earn my Jiu-Jitsu black belt. When I got my black belt, I was already a black belt in other martial arts styles. I already had 3 other black belts. I've always been a lifelong martial artist. A lifelong martial artist. That's a mouthful. And it's a lifetime full too. So I've been doing this for a minute. I started Jiu-Jitsu in '96, so I've been doing it, 23 years or whatever that is now. But I was a brown belt for 13 years, so I had a long time at brown belt, and then that's a whole story in and of itself. And part of that was, gaining weight, losing focus, becoming very depressed, and all kinds of a host of other things that was slowing down my progress, including moving around a few times to different schools, which, is always kind of like starting over too. So I definitely had this long tenure at brown belt. So when I finally got to the point where I earned my black belt in Jiu-Jitsu, because like I said, I had 3 other black belts, but BJJ is so different, man. It's not the same beast. I worked hard for my other black belts in those other styles, but it's not the same. And Jiu-Jitsu was elusive for me, man. I've been doing it for so long, I wanted to earn that black belt. It's not like I wasn't doing martial arts that whole time. It's not like I wasn't training that whole time. People always say that, oh, were you training during those 13 years? Yeah, but not in a healthy, mindful way, for sure. And I was hurt all the time, too. That was the other thing that was slowing me down. Constantly injured, and that's what happens when you're, outside of your body shape. When I was bigger than I needed to be, and it was rough on my body. So my point in saying that was when I got to my black belt, it was a really big deal. Like, it felt huge. It was like life-changing. It was momentum building. It was profound in so many levels. And when I got my black belt, it wasn't like people like in Jiu-Jitsu really knew who I was. I was just another guy out there getting his black belt, another 40-year-old getting a black belt, which was a big deal. But what it did for me in terms of my confidence as a martial artist is it helped propel me forward. That's when I made my first videos. That's when I made and created the idea of BJJAfter40. I kind of already had BJJAfter40 going at that point, like when I was close to the black belt, but I wasn't really doing anything with it. It was just sort of this idea and this thing, and I hadn't really pursued it a whole lot. But getting my black belt gave me confidence. It gave me it helped me feel like, this mountain that stood before me, I finally was there. And then if I could do that, like, what else can I do, right? And so it made me believe in myself as a martial artist and believe in myself as a conscious creator as well. Up until that point, I wasn't like being that creative with my jiu-jitsu. I was just, completing coloring books. In other words, I was just taking someone else's work and just tracing the lines and, doing their thing and not my thing. And my thing meant, a lot of different things, changing kind of, being true to who I was, being true to my spirit. I started growing my hair out. For me, that was something that I wanted to change about myself. I'd never grown my hair before, so I wanted to grow my hair long. And the point is not for you to go grow your hair long if you want. But the point for me was it was a confidence building thing. It allowed me to truly be who I was meant to be. It allowed me to open up and put videos online and create and, try to innovate with moves and play around with my jiu-jitsu and become a tinkerer and a creator. So it helped me in so many different ways, as a martial artist, which all carries over into the rest of my life. It helped me become a better father to my children. When I was a brown belt and I was stuck for 13 years, my kids were doing martial arts at that point too. They'd been doing jiu-jitsu. My daughter's 3. She's been doing it since she's 13, but she started when she was 3. So she's been doing it for like 10 years. So during that time when I was a brown belt, both my kids and my wife, who's now a brown belt and almost a black belt, were training as well. And I couldn't stand the idea of my children watching me just give up and fail at jiu-jitsu. So there was this leverage that I built against myself to complete this task that I was pursuing. And then getting to that point, like I said, became this huge momentum builder for me. It allowed me to believe in myself, allowed me to be a better father and to my children. And them seeing me believe in myself and doing this was huge for them and helped them move forward in their training as well. Jiu-Jitsu serves as such a great metaphor for our entire life. And I want you guys to remember that when you come to class and you push yourself and you get through it and you get through those tough roles and those tough experiences and you stay stoic about it and you keep it together, that's huge. And so when things become, pressure in your life and things are weighing down on you and it's not easy, you remind yourself, you say to yourself, man, like, dude, I can do that. Like, I did that on the mats. I did something that's so outside of who I am that, like, it's become who I am now, right? Like, you've transformed into this new person now. And how powerful is that? And if I can do that and become this, who can I become in the future, For me as a black belt, it's helped my relationship with my wife. It's helped me to mature as a man, mature as a husband. When you get to black belt, I just feel like there's this process that kind of happens, right? It's like kind of growing up in a way. When you're a purple belt, you're kind of like a teenager. You got all the power of the adult, all the moves, all the techniques, all the power, but you don't maybe have all the same responsibility yet. You become a brown belt, you start to mature. You start to understand things in a deeper level. You realize that it's not just about you anymore. It's about everyone around you and your connection to everyone around you. And then black belt's about practicing that, about becoming the teacher and practicing that. And that practice is not just like on the mats. That's part of it. That's part of the practice, the sharing, the teaching, the passing on of the art. That's part of being the black belt. But the other part of it is how you live your life. Where you are not a black belt, maybe you're anonymous, you're in the world and, you're not wearing your black belt, right? But are you acting like a black belt, when no one's watching or when everyone's watching, That's the practice. Are you perfect at it? No. Am I perfect at it? Hell no. It's a practice, right? That's why it's called a practice. It's like a muscle, right? If you don't exercise it, it atrophies. If you take care of it, you exercise it, it gets stronger. So I hope to see you at black belt someday. It's totally worth it. It is the most amazing journey in the world, and it's a very profound one. And I'm so honored to share it with all the other fellow Jiu-Jitsu black belts out there. And I hope to be able to serve for a long time. So good luck on your journey, and I look forward to seeing you there and shaking your hand one day as a fellow black belt. Happy training.